All right, guys, welcome back to the Lay Down podcast. I am here with my co-host Lenny B, and it's a huge day in the NFL. Of course, tomorrow the conference title games, and as you can see, we've got our sunglasses on just in preparation. But bigger event happened, so I'll let Lenny kick us off with what happened.
I'm taking my sunglasses off. I'm not doing this anymore.
It's
Yeah, Tom Brady just retired. Wow, I didn't get to watch him. Oh, wait, sorry. We're good. I didn't get to watch him when he was in his prime, or even maybe you could say this is prime, but I didn't get to watch the majority of his career. I've only seen the highlights. I've seen the peak moments. I've never seen the overall general view of it. And this year, I didn't really watch them that much because I was just like, well, I'm going to watch them in the playoffs. They're probably going to make the Super Bowl again, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't really that interested in like analyzing them this year because I knew what they were. Exactly. I knew they carried the team, but when I watched them, I thought the exact same thing. But anyway, I also thought this season was going to be the second season. Like next year was going to be his farewell tour, or like later down the line it was going to be later. But no, this is it. Like that was it, and it just kind of felt like it came out of nowhere, right? I mean, Big Ben retired and Brady retiring. I mean, that's two staples of the AFC just gone. It felt like it was never going to end. I'm assuming for you guys.
Brady and Manning, it felt like they would go on forever.
Well, now we're here. Like I made a video about this, about how NFL quarterbacks are getting increasingly young because quarterbacks are retiring from a generation of quarterback play, like Phillip Rivers, well, now Tom Brady and Big Ben, a lot of other players like Peyton Manning, Alex Smith, all these players from like 2000s, 2005 era.
Now the only guys that are left from that era,
Aaron Rodgers, really.
Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers really counts because he didn't start immediately, if you know what I mean.
No, I know, like when you're including those like the days where before the statistics went off and like it was just pocket passers. It's Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers are the only guys left.
Yeah, you also saw this in the media. There was a lot of change in how the media would depict quarterbacks. It was, it was always Big Ben versus Manning, Manning versus Brady, Brady versus Ben. It was, all these old quarterbacks versus each other, like Drew Brees even. There was another quarterback right there. And you started to see the shift as those players weren't as good and they just, weren't as good. I mean, it's just simple as that. Or they weren't around. You started seeing Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. They started hyping up Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson.
I got to see Barry's reaction to this.
All these other quarterbacks and these different rivalries they're starting to promote. And, this is like the emphasis of that thing I was
talking about. Lenny, the Barry curse.
Oh my God. Oh no.
He said he was the GOAT and then he lost and then he retired.
Bro, he was totally like at peace.
How IQ play was that?
1,000 IQ. But there's one other thing I want to mention, because I obviously can't say anything about his career because I just wasn't there for it. I mean, everyone knows everything that he did. I don't really need to explain that. But it's interesting to me that Tom Brady spent his last NFL game coming back like the thing that everyone knew Tom Brady for is being. Everyone knew that Tom Brady was this quarterback that would always come back. He's always coming back, whether that's through another NFL season when he thought he was done with like an injury or whatever, or going back to the Super Bowl or coming back from a game. This is the game, this was the game. Like everyone thought he was going to go back to the Super Bowl, and it's as simple as he just didn't come back this time. And, now he's not coming back to the NFL. So I think that's pretty poetic. Right? I think that's pretty poetic. That's how he ended his career, not coming back, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so the first Tom Brady game I ever saw, I remember he was playing the Chargers. It was in 2010.
Was it Phillip Rivers? Yeah, that's Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, this was the year the Chargers, they had the offense and the defense, but they had the worst special teams in NFL.
Oh, this is when they didn't make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
That's so messed up. But yeah, keep going.
And I mean, I've been watching him for over 12 years. The guy, I think, is a perfect representation for what an NFL player should be. Great leader, clutch, great player, great person. Longevity, takes care of himself. Winner, he did it all.
Great
He
competitor. Great
he
competitor.
he he was the best quarterback in the league a couple times. Maybe not as much as you would think, but he was consistent. He was in the top 3 more than anybody else in NFL history. And he's without a doubt the greatest quarterback ever. I mean, I don't know
Maybe
who
not the
else.
best player ever, Jerry Rice. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
He's, I think he's been the best quarterback ever for 5 years now. I thought that kind of ended with the Super Bowl against my Falcons when came back from 25 down.
You still could have argued Manning at that point, but it was pretty fluky. It was still pretty
I
fluky.
still, when you go 5 rings versus 2, it gets hard.
It was hard, but you could still technically
At
argue it.
4
I don't
rings,
think you can.
at 4 rings, it was getting hard. I'll
Yeah,
be
that
honest.
was when it was just like, okay, if you think Manning was better all time, then you probably just didn't watch Brady or Manning. You probably just looked at like the MVPs or whatever, the box scores and stuff. You know what I mean?
He's first all time in yards and touchdowns, right?
That's crazy. I mean,
Oh my God, this
man.
guy in his last year was the best quarterback in the league,
Yeah, I mean,
or
a
maybe
better.
second.
Another thing, you see with these other quarterbacks like Big Ben, Drew Brees, even Philip Rivers to an extent, they end their career trying to like pinch out this like last bit of glory, even though they're like not even really that good. You know what I mean? Like they became
Peyton
the
did it.
weak link at the end of their career, and now they're
Peyton did it.
hoping that their rosters are okay. Whatever. We're not talking about Peyton Manning.
I'm
Peyton
sorry.
Manning retired 5 years ago. He just had his Hall of Fame speech. but but yeah, this year he was the vocal point. He was the reason they were winning games, and he left the winner that everyone knew he was. It's kind of like Bo Jackson retired when he was didn't retire, but he stopped playing after his hip broke. He played at his peak, and he could have been better than that. It's kind of like the same feeling with Tom Brady. It feels like if he played another year, he had a chance to win a Super Bowl again, and it's like I don't know. It's tough to see him go out
The
like this.
biggest compliment I could say with Brady is, if you're an opponent who is playing the Patriots or Tampa Bay, you always feared him, even when you were up big. Like, ask the Rams fans how they felt up 27-3.
Dude, I thought they were going to
They
come
weren't
back.
saying,
It's
"Oh, game
crazy.
over." Other people were, the casuals were, but the Rams fans were scared, and we saw a lot. I think it is pretty funny that Matt Stafford was the one to end him off. It's kind of like the bottom line view torch pass of quarterbacks.
Oh no! Oh come on! That's it. See, this is adding extra argument to my thing where I was like, the Niners probably just aren't supposed to win this, but we'll get to that. But yeah, not a lot to say about this guy just because everything's been said about him. There's been thousands of video essays out there explaining why Tom Brady's Tom
There's
Brady.
nothing we're gonna say that you don't already know. Let's
No,
be honest.
I mean, like, I think all we can really talk about is the end, right? Because no one's really talked about that yet. We're here. This is where everyone's talking about the end, and that's what we're here
I
to
want
talk
to
about.
make a
So
video about his best ever seasons, though. I do want to. I want to do. We should do something for Brady.
I feel like in Brady in like 100 years, people are gonna look at him like, dude, what? Like, did he
He's
do?
gonna.
Did he
No,
really do
no.
all that?
Peyton's aged well, but Brady's gonna age so well, so
Like,
well.
it's gonna be like
His
he won
stats,
7 Super
and
Bowl.
he'll have the
He went to
rings.
like
It's
9
a
straight AFC
perfect
Championship
resume.
games.
He is the Jordan of the NFL. He's the Wayne
Yes.
Gretzky of the NFL.
Watch watch Brady come back, buy an NFL team, and just start playing again for their team when this quarterback sucks in like 5 years, like Jordan did with the Wizards.
So
That'd be
now,
funny.
Lenny, does my boy Matt Ryan become the best quarterback in the NFC South?
I mean, you'd be inclined to say yes, right? You'd say he's the best coach in the division now. You'd say he has the best coach. He has probably, if Calvin Ridley stays, which he's not, but like right now, currently, he has probably the best receiving core. Maybe
Best
the
tight
Panthers
end,
have an argument. Um, Tight end counts. I meant like passing options,
weapons.
but yeah, weapons. There you go. And you have a good base of young players like AJ Terrell, Deion Jones and Grady Jarrett. Like you have players, and you'd think if the Bucks just take a step back, because they're going to take a step back. The Bucks were carried so hard by Brady this year. I don't know if they win more than 10 games, if I'm being honest. I think they might win like 9 if Kyle Trask isn't terrible. But
Kyle Trask could very well be terrible.
We don't know. We'll look at Brady backups in the past. Jimmy Garoppolo is the only good one, and he's not even really that good. But I think the Falcons have a legit chance. I think it's real. I think this is the most open the NFC South has been in since Drew Brees got there. Right? You'd think so because
2014 was an odd year.
Because I wasn't there for that.
So Matt Ryan and Drew Brees both had terrible defenses, and Carolina was just average. So
it technically was just a toss-up.
When you look at the last, it was Drew Brees has basically owned the division. Matt Ryan won it for a couple years, and then Cam Newton had like a few years, and now it's Brady. Now it was Brady. But now
Derek Carr,
Cam Newton's long gone. Drew Brees is now gone. Tom Brady's now gone. It's tough.
How does it feel to be a Falcons fan? And you started watching the NFL, I'm assuming, when Matt Ryan came in the NFL. You said 2010. So you watched him for the last 10 years, and now he's the second oldest quarterback in the NFL. This must be pretty lethargic for you just to see that, It's just crazy, right?
It's sad because it means the end is very near.
Yes. I made a whole video of that. I called it, dude. I called it, and I have 20 views on it.
I don't think you really mentioned Matt Ryan much in that video, but you were talking about how the type of player that he was the end of that was coming.
Exactly.
And Matt Ryan, it's just the Falcons have had the quarterback situation figured out for 15 years. How many teams can say that? Look at what the Bears have been making.
I guess the Chargers count because they had Herbert into that mix, right?
Packers, Patriots.
I think it's probably the list, right? I don't think there's anyone else really.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think it's it.
And
that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Look, when the Falcons move on from Matt Ryan, you don't know if they're going to get someone ever.
They're going to get Hackett this year. Or no, not Hackett. I mean, Pickett.
You have no idea if they're ever going to replace him. You don't know if you're going to get someone better than Matt Ryan. I mean,
at least Brady fans.
They'd have to win. They'd have to win an MVP.
Patriots fans have Mac Jones at least, so I mean that's a good cushion at least.
But
it's not bad.
I hope even if we win 7 games, I just want to get back into the playoffs at this point. I'm like you with the Raiders. It's been too long.
Been too long, man. All right. So do you want to start getting to predictions, or you got something else to say?
I saw Tom Brady play just real quickly, Lenny, because we both did. Saying I saw Tom Brady play is something that will command attention in any conversation in a generation from now.
Oh yeah, my grandkids, they're like, "Did you watch Tom Brady play?" I'm like kind of. Yes, I did.
Saying you watch Michael Jordan commands attention.
Oh yeah. Michael Jordan. I mean,
dude, I can't wait for the Mitch reaction video to this.
Oh, bro, I can't wait to
feel bad for the guy.
Oh, one last thing. I saw someone on Twitter being like this. He was a Steelers fan. He's like, man, Brady better not retire this year. He's gonna that's Big Ben's retirement speech. And so now it's Big Ben gets another thing stolen from him from Tom Brady.
After all those people were stolen from him.
Yeah, another thing. One last screw you, buddy. One last screw you to Big Ben.
Brady should go in this year. That's the legacy he said.
Yeah, he should just be in.
Let's get into the AFC Championship game.
Yes.
The Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs in a rematch of a game we did see fairly recently, about a
week
month
14?
ago now. I think it was week
16. Week 16.
17? Or something like that.
It was, all right, whatever. We get the gist. It was somewhere around
it was the end of the regular
season. Yeah.
How do you see the game going?
Bengals have to get really lucky, I think. They got lucky the first time. with that, even just the last drive when they were on like the fourth down call and they got like the PI and they had a new set of downs and they just kind of ran it down. Like that was really lucky. I mean, all the things that had to go their way for that to happen. And it almost seemed like the Chiefs let off the gas pedal in the second half. Like they're like, they're the Bengals. They're about to make the playoffs. Like, we already locked in the division. Like, they were kind of like sleep. They're
Let
kind of
them
like,
have this.
they're just like, all right, or, I'm gonna take the wheel. But it's hard to say, especially with that last game last week, that the Bengals. Like, I went on the bottom line thing last week or yesterday, and I was pretty positive about the Bengals, but just thinking about it a little more, I don't know how close this game is going to be, to be
You know
honest.
what it is, Lenny? It's the fact that the Chiefs, and I know this is going to annoy Mitch, but they have like this Patriots factor to them, where once they get to like the AFC Championship, it's so hard to bet against them.
It's not even that. It's like if they're
I
playing
think
the
it
Bills
is.
right,
I
if
think
they're playing the Bills right now, I would be picking the Bills. That's just what
because I think
I
the
thought the
Bills are
Bills were
just
going to
as
beat
good as
them. That's true, but they haven't proven it like the way you're saying about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just Patrick Mahomes is on that sideline. But I said this before, and I'll say it again: the Bengals have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and they are going to tear it up regardless of what the box score is. In my opinion, I mean, you saw in the Titans game, it doesn't matter how many times you hit this guy, he's going to keep throwing downfield and he's going to keep making big plays. So I'm not really concerned on that front, like he's going to get like worried or like injured because we know he's cool. He's Joe Cool. But my worry is that they're going to get down early and they're going to get predictable and Mahomes is going to drown him out because that could very easily happen when you're playing the Chiefs, especially with how they're playing right now. Their only chance of winning this game is just if Joe Burrow plays better than Patrick Mahomes. And that's a big ask. That's a big ask. You know what I mean? I mean, even Josh Allen played better than him last week. And we saw what happened. I mean, he played better and they lost.
He needs to play significantly better.
Better. I think that's a better way to say it. Because he did the last time they played.
Because Allen was probably better, but like, come on. It was
I think Mahomes was more clutch, I think, just because of those 13 seconds. I mean,
no, it was basically, let's be honest, it was basically even. Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, we already talked about this game. But
Mahomes
yeah. Matchups wise, offensive line, I don't think the Bengals are going to get that much pressure. I like Trey Hendrickson. I like Sam Hubbard, but I just don't think it's going to. I mean, after last game, I don't think anything's going to startle Mahomes unless he just gets absolutely cracked like he did in the Super Bowl last year. I think for matchups wise, they don't really have anyone to cover Travis Kelce. They could put Jesse Bates on him one-on-one, but Kelce's going to get his money anyway. They could try to double Hill and try to double Kelce with Jesse Bates or some other linebacker or something. I just feel like they're going to get production no matter what. You're going to have like,
oh my God, Lenny,
Darrell Revis and Stephon Gilmore.
I just realized Derek Carr may actually be top 10 now that Brady's gone.
Oh! Let's go! Let's go! Major W's. Okay. All right. That was the stupidest thing for me to get excited about, but it's really funny. Continue what I was saying. Andy Reid's going to scheme them open. He's going to find a way to get them open. I'm not worried about that in any sort of way. But for the Bengals on offense, and you look at the Chiefs defense, like I was saying before, I don't know how good they're going to be able to block these guys. Melvin Ingram's been pretty good for them. Chris Jones has been Chris Jones. Frank Clark's been solid. They're really good at pass rushers, all three of them. They've shown in the playoffs that they're good, at least at pass rush.
Frank Clark is like tied for 4th all time in playoff sacks. Did you know that?
Is that true?
I heard it on the broadcast.
That's really interesting. I didn't. Oh wow,
it makes sense because he was with the Seahawks and now he's with the Chiefs.
But still, it's just hearing that. You know what I mean? It's more hearing that than anything else. But I think that the Bengals offensive line.
You're on mute, Lenny.
All right, we're good. My AirPods died again. Okay, cool.
At minimum, the Chiefs' offensive line or the Bengals' offensive line needs to just enough. It needs to be enough. You know what I mean? It needs
Yeah.
to be like
It
four.
just can't be horrendous.
It can't be horrendous. It can't be, oh my God, dude, this guy is just getting absolutely harassed or thrown around. And I honestly don't think that the Bengals and the Chiefs defense is going to be able to stop Jamar Chase at all, even if it's like he has 200 yards and not like whatever he had last game against him. He's going to get his money. I don't think they have the personnel to beat them. They're not good in zone coverage. And if they play a lot of zone coverage, then Jamar Chase is going to burn them. Joe Burrow's a smart quarterback anyway. If they play man coverage, he's going to beat them over the top. I don't really see a way the Chiefs are going to be able to attack this except for going all out on blitzes and whatever. I mean, I think the Bengals match up well if the Bengals offensive line holds up. I think they match up well if they hold up, but that's also a big ask.
If the Bengals
And
get time, like they're one of the few teams I think can go score for score with Kansas City. Like, because I
exactly.
think they've got better I know Allen's probably better than Burrow, but they've got better receivers than the Bills do, in my opinion.
I feel like the Bills just have like 4 third string wide receivers, right?
Behind
Emmanuel
Stephon Diggs,
Sanders, Gabe Davis, Cole
Cole
Beasley,
Beasley,
and
Isaiah McKenzie.
yeah, and Isaiah McKenzie. They have like 4 third string wide receivers, but yeah, that's my thoughts on the game. I just think there's too many ifs with the Bengals, especially with the fact that they're here in the first place. It's kind of like, wait, you're in the AFC Championship game, you know?
What's your score prediction?
Maybe I guess like 35-27. 35.
All right, so you do think it'll be a pretty close game,
I think it'll be close at the end. I think they
or
get
maybe
down
like they get a
early.
garbage time
I
touchdown or
think they might get
something.
down early and just put down some points at the end. Try the onside kick and it just doesn't work. I think that might be
That
the
I think is a big thing. Bitch said like the early part of the game, right? The Chiefs, the Chiefs feel comfortable coming back, but the Bengals, because they're a younger team with not much experience going against what is a juggernaut, if they get down say 17-3 early on, they're not gonna feel very confident. I'm just gonna be honest.
No,
Especially
they're
in
it's gonna
Arrowhead
be
with the crowd going, that place is tough to win in, as we've seen.
what was the chant? I always forget.
Something like that.
Something like that. It doesn't matter.
By the way, Frank Clark is 5th all time in playoff sacks.
Oh man, that's
He's
crazy.
behind Willie McGinnis, Bruce
Oh,
Smith,
William Guinness.
Terrell Suggs, and Reggie White.
Terrell Suggs. You see how his lips like this? He's all like all at all times. What are your
No, but I
thoughts?
think I mostly agree with what you said. I think the problem for Cincinnati here is they don't have Joe Burrow's escapability is fine, but he doesn't run the way Josh Allen did. So I don't know if they can really expose those linebackers in that way. Because Allen converted a lot of crucial 3rd and 4th downs with his legs. And I don't know if Burrow can necessarily do that to that extent. I think if they get time, they can tear them apart. But I just don't think they'll get consistent time. As we
Your
said,
Pro
Frank
Bowl
Clark,
voter Tavarius Ward
Chris
gets thrown over the
Jones, Melvin Ingram, against an interior offensive line that, quite frankly, played one of the worst games I've ever seen last week.
top.
I think their tackles are actually fairly decent, but the interior is awful. Like, awful.
Jonah Williams, I like. He's all right.
Joe Mixon in this game, I think they're going to need some production out of him again. Like, because if you can actually run the ball, then I do think you can score on the Chiefs' defense. But I don't know if that's consistent enough, and I don't know if they've been able. I don't know if they have that because they're so Burrow and Chase centric now. I don't know how that's going to affect them. When you flip it to the defense, quite frankly, I think the Chiefs' offense is back to what they used to be right now, and I don't see how they stop Kelsey. I don't see how they consistently stop Hill. And I mean, look, Derek Carr is awesome. Ryan Tannehill, solid, but like you're going to the best quarterback in football now.
To kill the beast or to be the beast, you got to kill the beast. They haven't necessarily killed the beast yet.
I'm not going to bet against Kansas City in this situation. I think it's close. I'm going to say Chiefs win 35-30 and advance to a 3rd straight Super Bowl.
Crazy.
In what they've basically made their does the season for the Chiefs start until the playoffs now?
It's starting to feel like that, right? I mean, even with the Patriots teams, it felt like they were still playing really hard in the regular season because of just the way they were coached, right?
Like,
Belichick
no,
is
but, like, I'm serious. Like, this year, it feels like half the time they lost to everybody they were apparently going to lose to in the playoffs, and then they're just back here.
um yeah, it feels like they're playing Madden sometimes, like they're playing
I do
franchise.
think the NFC teams can beat them, especially like if the Rams are able to get
They
there.
definitely, I think a lot of both the NFC teams match up fairly well against them, and they are going to not. It's not going to be easy for them to win, but it's the Chiefs. What at what point is it getting to Tom Brady levels? It's like don't bet against Patrick Mahomes.
If
Like
he
just
wins
don't.
it again this year, you're going to start hearing that.
I think we should start talking about it already. Honestly,
So,
I mean,
Patrick Mahomes has more playoff wins since 2012 than Aaron Rodgers does.
I think this is more about Aaron Rodgers than it does Patrick Mahomes. If I'm being honest,
But eight playoff wins in 4 years. Like,
that's crazy, bro. That's
all right,
that's
Lenny.
wins is
Moving on to the NFC Championship,
that's crazy.
we have the San Francisco 49ers headed to Southern California to Inglewood. Fun
Yeah.
fact: my girlfriend was born in Inglewood.
Inglewood. All the rappers sing about
The
that.
Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers, division rivals, Lenny. You're playing
Division
another you're
6-0, baby.
you're playing
6-0.
you're playing another division rival in an NFC Championship. You did it in 2013. You're 6-0 against this team in the last 6 games. Shanahan owns McVay. How's the game gonna go?
I fully expect as a Niners fan for the team to be coached well. This isn't going to be a game where the Niners come in and just like blow it. Like they just play bad and they lose because they play bad. This is a game that we're going to lose because the other team's better than us or they just want it more. I really think that it's you look at the matchups. I think the Niners are favored in the matchups, but at some point with the talent level that the Rams have, like at this point with the momentum after Tom Brady just retired after the game you just beat them in, I mean, like that's hard to beat anybody who just did that in the playoffs, right? I mean, Stafford is going to have to play really good. He can't play bad in this game, I think. And I think it's at the point where we're at with Stafford, like he's playing in the playoffs and he's played 2 really good playoff games. He's played 2 really solid, really good playoff games. He's protecting the football. He's making big plays. He's finding who's open. He's making the throws he wanted him to throw. And I'm not going to bet against Stafford playing bad anymore because he just played the Bucs, which is admittedly a solid defense.
I don't think it's as good as the Niners, but
no, it's not. But point is they played a pretty solid defense, and he torched them. He made them look like it was paper mache for the first half. And I guess for the line of scrimmage, I know you said this, you're going to talk about it more, but the line of scrimmage is important for this game. The Niners are just amazing on the front 5. I really like all our starters on the front 5 for the offensive line. They're all good, I think, except for maybe the right guard, but, that's besides the point. But they're physical, they're dominant, and it's really interesting matchup because you look at Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and Leonard Floyd. This team wasn't like this defensive line wasn't playing this good when we played them the last time. The last 2 times we played, they weren't playing like Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and Leonard Floyd. You know what I mean?
it feels like Aaron Donald was awesome, but like he didn't seem quite as dominant as he usually was in the regular season this year. But like in the playoffs, he's back to that.
I think it was an over-reliance on defense on him. I think they were using him like
he did get better when Miller got there, to be fair.
I think this is a similar situation that we saw in 2019 or 2018, my bad, with Calais Campbell. Or not Calais Campbell. What was his name?
Khalil Mack?
No. It was the Rams had 2 players. It was Aaron Donald and who was his name, bro? Ndamukong Suh? Was it Ndamukong Suh?
Yeah, it was Sue.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm talking about. See, guys, I didn't watch the NFL at that point, all right? Cut me some slack here. So, yeah.
Only judge Lenny by his knowledge since 2019.
With Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald was able to get a lot of one-on-one looks, And when he didn't get one-on-one looks, and Ndamukong Suh was getting the one-on-one looks. And you see that with the Rams right now. It's like, do you double Von Miller? Do you double Aaron Donald? Do you double Leonard Floyd? Do you chip Leonard Floyd? Do you chip you have to put a lot of attention at the line of scrimmage. And I think Shanahan is going to handle that. I don't think it's going to be as big of a problem as it was with the Bucs, because the Bucs weren't giving their tackles any help. It felt like they were just like, go for it.
Arians isn't a good coach.
It's like they didn't even plan for it. It's like they saw Tristan Wirfs was on IR or whatever. He was injured. And they're just like, you guys got this. You got this. He's like, go for it. I expect, Trent Williams, obviously, amazing. I expect it to be a very different game in the line of scrimmage than that game last week. But, it's going to come down to, I know this is kind of cheesy a little bit, but I personally think it's going to come down to Jimmy Garoppolo and Matthew Stafford. If Jimmy G plays a good game, it's going to be hard to beat this team in any circumstance, because the Niners have had a bad quarterback play for this stretch of playoffs. It's like, I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I like the dude. He's solid, but he's not played good. He hasn't played good. And if Jimmy Garoppolo plays good in this game, it's hard to see anybody beating the Niners, right? If Jimmy Garoppolo just plays a good game.
If they get the pass offense going, it's tough.
I mean, they can beat you in almost any way. They can beat you on defense. They can beat you through pass rush. They could beat you through turnovers. They could beat you through the line of scrimmage and physicality. And then you add on top of that quarterback play. I mean, it's like, I don't know if anyone's going to beat this team. But again, I don't know if that's going to happen. And if I'm the Rams, I am hoping that pass rush, it just gets the better. I think, what's the name of the defensive coordinator? Raheem Morris?
Morris.
I'm hoping Raheem Morris puts out a hell of a game plan to get Jimmy Garoppolo uncomfortable, because that's what they're going to need. And, Deebo Samuel, you talked about him. We know how good Deebo Samuel is. He'll get his money. George Kittle will get his money, even if it's in pass pro. That's another thing. I'm expecting George Kittle to be at the line of scrimmage a lot this week, because we have enough playmakers outside of Kittle to where he is better utilized as a pass protector in certain situations. So don't expect a big game from Kittle. I don't think. But yeah, another thing to add on to the pass rush for the Rams, which really won them the game last week.
Oh my God. Mitch is actually still saying Brady has to say it for it to be real.
Oh boy. Oh, I mean, I'm not surprised. Imagine
bro.
Oh, bro. I mean, that's fair, right? I mean, you kind of feel like that. But,
he's gone. I'm sorry. It's gone too far. Brady wouldn't do this stuff. I know he's a troll now.
Oh,
but yeah, keep going. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah. Basically, I think if Jimmy Garoppolo plays a good game, we 90% of the time we win this game. And if Matthew Stafford has an amazing game, I think 90% of the time the Rams win this game. If he's unstoppable, which he's shown that he can do, and especially in the playoffs. One last thing, the Rams and Niners have to set up their quarterbacks in good situations. They have to not be overly pressured. I don't think they have to be set up on good third down opportunities. They need to just have good defense to keep them in the game. And another thing, coaching. Who's going to show up? We don't know. McVay is owned by Shanahan. Is he in his head? Do we know if McVay or Shanahan is in McVay's head? We don't know that. But that's another thing that's going to have to be in Stafford's favor, and another thing that's going to have to be in Jimmy Garoppolo's favor for them to win this game. But I'm going to pick the Rams to win because I just think it's their year. It's just their year. It's everything's. It's like they just beat Tom Brady after he retired the last game he's ever.
Oh my God, Lenny! I just realized my childhood is not like Sean Payton, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. They're all gone.
Oh man, my childhood just started because I just got into the thing where
now you've got to deal with Mahomes and Herbert for 15 years.
Justin Herbert, when he retires, I'm gonna bawl. I'm just gonna be like, oh no, and then the Raiders will finally have a division where everyone isn't just amazing.
Watch Denver will get the next John Elway now.
John Elway Jr. is gonna join the Broncos.
How do you feel about McDaniels?
Okay, I explained this on the podcast yesterday. he doesn't do anything really that impressive to me. His short intermediate game, he's very good at scheming people open intermediate. His screen pass game is pretty creative. I appreciate what he does in that sense, but his down the field stuff, which is right now the most important thing you need in an NFL team, it's just not impressive to me. I don't see him scheming people open downfield. Nelson Aguilar is an amazing deep threat, and like you saw with the Raiders, like it was ridiculous sometimes how John Gruden was able to scheme him open. And I just haven't seen that aspect. It's always like there's streaks. It's always like a streak or like a post, and then that's it. Like it's always used as an excuse to get everything underneath open. And I think in this game, if you don't have Tom Brady or you don't have like a Matt Ryan in his prime or like a Drew Brees in his prime, you just can't do that. And it's going to make things not harder for Derek Carr, but I think it's going to just be like the same. And I'm not here to settle for the same anymore. I'm done with it. But Josh McDaniels would be fine, I guess. I think he'd be whatever.
It's just
like
I just wish him guess.
More. It's like we're here and we have a chance to do something, and we're settling for mediocrity.
You would go for Harbaugh if it was.
I would love to go for Harbaugh because you know that he has the chance. You just know he has the chance to bring us to somewhere really good. And with Josh McDaniels, I don't really feel. I don't.
Plus, Lenny would even prefer Harbaugh to Shanahan at this point.
In resume, yeah, it's obviously Harbaugh, but
okay. Score prediction for the game.
I'd probably take Harbaugh for the Raiders specifically. I wouldn't take him back for the Niners though.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't move on from Shanahan for anybody.
No.
But I'm just saying, like in terms of you said Harbaugh had been a better coach than Shanahan for the Niners.
Well, yeah, he went to 3 straight Nfc Championship games, and the one season he didn't do that good. He went 8-8, and they fired him. And I'm like, what?
That's Trent Baalke's fault.
Yeah, screw Trent Baalke, bro. I told Jags fans, I told you that Trent Baalke was terrible, and it took you a whole season to figure that out. But here we are.
All right, what's your prediction for the game? What's the score?
I think it's going to be kind of defensive. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. So I'm going to say like 28-25 Rams. I'll
25 is a weird score.
I know it's a weird score, but
Shanahan may do whatever though. Yeah. So I mostly agree with what Lenny said. I think the game will be won on the line of scrimmage for the Rams. If they're able to block the Niners, who have kind of dominated their offensive line, then I think they win the game because I don't think the Niners can cover them. The difference between the Rams and the Packers is the Rams actually have other options other than their top guys.
That is true. They doubled.
The Packers, once they couldn't throw to Adams, were hopeless. The Rams aren't. You got to worry about Odell. You got to worry about Jefferson. You got to worry about Higbee. I think Sony Michel, they got to run with some more power. I don't think the Niners, they're not the biggest defensive line. I do think you can overpower them at times. They're very fast. They're very, they're very good on the edges. But I think up the middle, you can we saw A.J. Dillon actually do it a couple times. You can run on them a little bit. But if the Niners are able to get to Stafford consistently, we've seen Stafford turn the ball over. You can win the game that way. The offense for the Niners, I think you're going to get mixed results because I do think we've seen a little bit more vulnerability in your pass blocking line these playoffs, specifically last week. Gary was actually really good for Green Bay. Tom Compton, he's better than McGlinchey, but how much better is the question.
I think they'll give Kittle, give him help with that.
I think he's exploitable.
I just trust Shanahan.
And then you've got Von Miller, who's playing the best football right now that he's played in a while.
Since 2015, arguably.
You got Aaron Donald, who's arguably the best player in the league, and you've got Leonard Floyd, who's been the most underrated guy in the league for the last 2 years. They can get to the quarterback. If the Niners do a better job than I think they may actually do when protecting Jimmy, I think they can win the game. And I do think it's tough to stop the Niners' run offense, even for a really good run defense, because they're different, right? They run up the middle, but they also run to the outside, and then they also use the quick passing game. It's a creative run game. It's not just inside zone halfback dive 20 times in a row. Shanahan's very creative. I think, though, Morris facing him a third time will give him some more kind of clarity and expectation for what that offense is going to do. And we saw, I think, last year, the Bucs were much more prepared for the Saints in the third time rather than the first or the second time.
That's true.
And they also had to insert a new quarterback. Where I see the game being won is I think Stafford, when he's been asked to make the throws, has made the throws. We saw at the end of last week. He was extremely clutch, and I think he can do that again. And I just think the Niners offensive line may have a tough time with the Rams pass rush. And I think ultimately that may be the difference in the game. So I think also the other thing, the Rams are hearing all week the fact that, Shanahan owns McVay. You don't think McVay's going to feed off of that, right? He wants to win this game so badly.
Yeah,
you could tell in the second game when they were up 17-0, he was celebrating. He wants to beat this guy.
Oh, yeah, he went on the field in the end zone after the touchdown.
Yeah. And Lenny made fun of him after the game.
I was so mad at McVay at that point. I was like, bro, get off the field.
I'm going to take the Rams to win 27-24, game-winning field goal. Could I see the Niners winning? Sure. So I've got a Chiefs-Rams Super Bowl. We both have Chiefs-Rams Super Bowls.
I want the Niners to win really badly. It just doesn't feel like we're gonna win, right? That's what I feel like. I don't know if that you have that same feeling or not. It just doesn't feel like we're gonna win.
It just feels like the Rams year.
Everything went their way this year in terms of, getting healthy at the right time, getting the chemistry at the right time, getting all the big free agents. Next year they're not going to be the same team without Von Miller and OBJ. I mean, it's just all these things correlating makes it just like extra.
This is like their year to win. Since the Stafford trade.
If this wasn't the Rams and if this wasn't Sean McVay, I really wouldn't be saying it's their year, if you know what I mean. If it was just the Vikings.
All right, guys, I think that's going to be the end of it. I still can't believe Tom Brady's gone.
Yep, Tom Brady is out of the
Lenny, do you ever see someone having as much luck as he did?
Mahomes is getting close, honestly, bro. You think about the 13 seconds, you can't say that's not lucky, right? Because he almost won the game. He would have lost the game if the special teams just didn't choke, right? I mean,
so do you think Tom Brady is the luckiest quarterback of all time?
Yes, but I think that's also because he's been put in so many situations to be lucky.
Do you think he's the greatest NFL player of all time?
Jerry Rice, bro.
Is he top 2?
He's top 2. Jerry Rice, bro. I know I'm a Niners homer, but dude, his records are ridiculous. It's ridiculous how good he was for so long, bro.
All right, guys. That's going to be the end of it. Thanks for watching.